Welcome to Salon Talks. I am Mary Elizabeth Williams, and this fashionable lady here is Yvette Nicole Brown. You know her from a million things, from her incredibly lengthy IMDb page, but mostly you probably know her from Community, her iconic role, movies like Disenchanted, shows like Drake and Josh. She's Emmy nominated, and now, among a million other things, she's in the lovely, tender, sweet, warm, incredible new Apple TV series. It's the adaptation of the classic, Frog and Toad.
Frog and Toad.
Hi, Yvette.
Hi, nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. I loved this so much. It's so gentle. It felt like watching Mr. Rogers, just so loving and beautiful and sweet and true to the stories that we grew up on. I want to ask you a little bit about how you became involved and who you are in this magical world.
Yeah, you know what, Liz, first of all, I learned to reading Frog and Toad books when I was a kid because they came out in the 70s and so did I. So it's been a wonderful joy to get to step into this world, and I voice Rabbit. I'm Rabbit on the show, and what I love about Frog and Toad is that it celebrates differences and it tells young people and adults, because it's not just a show for kids, that it's okay if you're not the same as your friends. Just find a way to find your way to common ground and celebrate the differences. And I think that's what we need more in this world.
And you are with an incredible array of other voice actors.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about some of the people you get to be animals with.
Yeah, Michael Richardson is on, and Nate Faxon are Frog and Toad, and Margaret Cho. It's just an embarrassment of riches. I was looking at the list, and it's like Emmy nominee, Oscar winner. I was like, what's happening? So it's just wonderful people that understand what we're trying to do. You know, Ron Funches, like it's just a delicious group of people.
And I saw you tweet recently about Frog and Toad boyfriends. The boyfriends, Frog and Toad. I did not know until recently the story of the author.
Yeah, I didn't know that. You know, how would we know that as kids, first of all? But Arnold Lobel, when he created the books, he was in the middle of his own awakening and trying to reconcile feelings that he was having, and it was at a time when it wasn't okay. And I think he was married at the time and was a family man. And so Frog and Toad was his way of dipping a toe into certain feelings that he hadn't spoken out loud about. And what I love about the book series and the show now, it's not discussed then or now. You get from this series and this television series what you need to get. And if you need a soft place to land because you have some questions and you're figuring some things out, Frog and Toad are there for you. If you just want to see a wonderful friendship between two amphibians, Frog and Toad is there for you. It is a kind of choose your own adventure as you read the books or watch the show, which I love.
Yeah, I love that too. And I think for those of us who are adults, watching it, watching it with young children, you can view it through that lens of what it was back then, and then knowing the story and knowing that this is also a story written by a gay man who is expressing his own awakening and his own feelings through this beautiful
tender little story. It's a, however you look at it, if it's a love story for friends or it's a romantic love story, the point is it's a love story, and I think it's just a beautiful love story, and it teaches us so much about how to coexist, and that's beautiful.
Right, and about friends.
Absolutely.
Friendship and community.
And the community that you build, because there's so many other animals that are a part of this world, and it's and all of them are different, and all of them get along. You know, I love it.
I love it too. I love it. You have, when I look at your career, it seems to me almost inevitable that you would be in a project like this, Yvette, for two reasons. And I'm going to start with, because you do a lot of work in the space of kids entertainment from the jump, basically. You've been in so many kids movies and kids shows. You're a comic, you're just an absolute force of nature. Is there something about that particular space and that kind of entertainment that gives you something different as a performer?
Absolutely. Like I wanted to be a singer when I was a kid, and that was the big dream, the entertainment dream. But the regular dream, the grounded dream, was I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. So I've always loved kids at the 5 or 6 age. I think that's when they're first discovering that they're human beings and how to move through life. And I think it's such a special, important time. And so when I did become an actor, one of the first things I did was Drake and Josh, and I talk about this all the time. I didn't have to do a kids show. I chose to do a kids show. And in that space, I see myself as a role model. I know a lot of people don't want to be. I think it's great for people to look up to you. I think it's great to model kindness and decency and love. And so that's what I try to do. So when I chose to do Drake and Josh, I realized that every 4 or 5 years, Nickelodeon would reboot the show and start it again. So every 4 or 5 years, a new set of kids would be coming up, discovering the show and discovering me. And so every decision I made after that was to make sure that I, Yvette, didn't make a decision that confused them or showed them something that they weren't ready for, right? So I've chosen to stay in the PG-13 lane so that any baby that discovers me can take a safe route through life if they follow my career. So that's a choice I made. So the decisions that I make as an actor, is this something that people can watch from 8 to 80? Is usually my decision. The only time I've ever strayed from that is a couple of voiceover roles because it's not my face. And so I was a little naughty in Crossing Swords and a little naughty in Super Mansion, but it still is, it's pretty close to what I normally do. So yeah, so it's a decision I made and I don't regret it.
Yvette, I love when you just tee up a segue for me. And you did that beautifully, the voice work.
Yes.
You've done so much voice
Yes.
work. And we've had other guests on who've talked about why they are drawn to that and the specialness of doing that kind of work as an actor. What is it for you?
The basics of it is that it's not based on what you look like, right? So I kind of love that you can be a squirrel, or you can be a cloud in the sky, or you can be, a black woman, and it's not about the physicality of what you actually are. So I love the make-believe imagination part of it. And then I also love, because of that I can do it in my pajamas. I kind of love that I can kind of roll out of bed and go. I'm at the place now where I built a space, because during COVID, we all were recording from home. It was the only part of entertainment that was still working. And so I started in like my closet with all the clothes around me, and it was hot and sweaty in there, and it was not conducive to having a good time. So I thought, I'm going to build a space. I'm going to make a space for this, because we didn't know how long this pandemic was going to last. And now I've got a great booth in my house, and I'm able to like settle in, go to my little chair, my dog Harley's at my feet, and I get to create worlds, at home. So that's my favorite part about it.
I've seen Harley.
Yes.
He shows up in a lot of your interviews.
Harley he's a mess. The best mess.
It's
the
a
best
good
mess.
Well, when I think of it, but he's one member of your family.
Yes.
I have to ask you, because this is a topic very close and dear to my own heart. When you left Community, when you stepped back, you have said that you got a lot of flack. I want to ask you about the motive. Some people don't know why you did that, why you took a step back. And I want to ask you about that flack, because people don't understand when you make those kinds of choices in your life. Tell me about your dad.
Yeah, so I've been a caregiver for my dad for 10 years. So that's how long it's been since Community went off the air. And I noticed that things were happening with him maybe 6 to 8 months before that. And once the show got canceled, I immediately got on a plane, went to Cleveland, and just started packing him up, because I'm like, I'm going to move him with me. And then Community got picked up. And I realized that 16-hour days was not conducive to me being able to take care of my dad in the way that he deserved. So I went to Dan Harmon and Sony at the time and said, is it possible that you guys can release me from my contract? And I told them why. And they kindly released me. No strings attached. Go and take care of your dad. It was the fans that were a little mean about it, which I didn't understand. I didn't, to some of their credit, some people didn't understand why I left. They just knew it was a family issue. But in my mind, what kind of monster is going to choose a television show over their father or whoever they're choosing to care for? And so I was a little put back that they thought that fame or money or success or whatever they think those things are would make me pass on caring for someone that, taught me how to use a spoon. It's never going to happen. So I made the decision for my dad. It was the best decision I've ever made. I do not regret it. And now people know, because I've been very vocal about my caregiving journey and am, excited to share the truth of what it is, because I think when more people hear our caregiving stories, the more it demystifies the idea of what caregiving is. And can I talk about the initiative that I'm a part of?
Please.
Yes. Okay. So I'm on the Creative Care Council for this great organization called Caring Across Generations. It's created by a wonderful woman named Ai-Jing Poo. And it's a creative care council. It's me, Bradley Cooper, Megan Thee Stallion, Seth and Laura Miller-Rogan, Richard Louie, Eves Matthew East. I think I got everybody. And Brandy Evans also. And we all are people that are in different places in the entertainment industry. And the goal of Caring Across Generations is for us to share our care stories and also to advocate for more people and television and film sharing care stories. And Ijin, our great creator of this organization, was recently in DC, and she got President Biden to sign an executive order that will provide more opportunities for those that are caregivers. Because what people don't know is that when you're a caregiver and you have to take time off, there's no way for you to get paid for that time. And so a lot of times we sacrifice our jobs and other parts of our lives in order to care for people. And there needs to be a safety net for caregivers as well, and a safety net for the caregivees, because what if you don't have a daughter that can take you in? There should be some type of system where you can get the care you need, even if you don't have family that can provide it. So
it's so important, because when we talk about caregiving, we have to also look at who is taking care of the caregivers and what resources they are. And even when you say you would never regret it, it's the best decision of your life, it's still so hard. It's so hard.
It really is.
And you need support.
Yeah, and also you have to, there's this thing called self-care. I've never been able to master it, but I heard it exists and it's awesome. You have to find a way to find something that brings you joy as a caregiver. What I have found, and I found this after my mother passed, Lego brings me joy. Lego is something that I can just, if I'm building, I can just focus on, the Infinity Gauntlet, or, the Volkswagen Bug, or whatever it is that I'm building. You focus on that thing, and then once it's done, you have something tangible that took your mind off of the thing that was heavy for you. And so I tell people, maybe it's coloring, maybe it's a puzzle, maybe it's crocheting, maybe it's binge watching Ted Lasso. Find something that takes your mind off the thing. So that's the self-care for me. And it's important for every caregiver to find that, because you spend so much time being outward facing, concerned about your person, that you forget that you're also your person. Before you're a caregiver, you have to care for this person, right? So you have to find a way to do that. And I'm struggling with it. I don't know how to do it, but I'm trying.
It's really hard.
It is.
It's really, really challenging.
Yeah.
Have you been to Legoland?
I have not been to Legoland yet.
You gotta go to Legoland.
It was a pandemic. I couldn't get there yet. I'm gonna get there.
Okay, it's not that far.
I know.
It's just a little bit upset. Okay, go there. I have to ask you the community question, because this show is so meaningful to so many people. Mm-hmm. It was a slow burn with building that kind of audience.
Yeah.
I want to know, was there a moment for you when you thought, oh, this is a thing for people?
What's funny? I think the pandemic, actually, I know that's a long time after community, but the pandemic taught me that. And then also there was this thing, TV Guide used to have this thing like Save One Show. Like they had all these shows around the bubble, and Save One. And Community won the year that we were in the poll. And I thought, wow, people out of all these shows that are on the bubble, they want to save us. So those two instances, I think it was a slow burn, because we weren't a loud show. And we came out around the same time as Big Bang Theory. And I think people thought, well, that's the show for nerds. This other show, I don't know what it is. And so all the love from the nerds went to Big Bang Theory, I think, at the time, even though our show, I think, is really the nerdy show. Like, it really gets meta, and it goes into the nooks and crannies of all these interesting television shows and events. So I feel like people discovered us late. They binged us. We got on Netflix and Hulu, and they started binging, and they go, oh, this is really weird in the best way. And they discovered us that way. So
it is very weird in the best.
It's very weird in the best way.
And very sweet and lovely in the best way.
It is.
And speaking of sweet and lovely, you got Frog and Toad, which is an absolute joy.
It's so great.
I think truly what you said about whether you're 8 or 80, you do not have to be a kid.
You do not.
Absolutely fall in love with this. Very just sincere.
It's sincere, and I like the pacing of Frog and Toad. It's a quiet show. It's a pensive, quiet show, and I love that sometimes you have to lean in a little bit to get the lesson. And Frog and Toad is one of those shows where it's like a warm hug, and you just kind of lean in and you just go, oh, that's what it is. And that's what I used to love about Mr. Rogers too. He was a quiet man. He would start talking, and he wasn't bombastic. He would just put his little sweater on, his little tennis shoes, and this is what we're going to talk about today. And I think that's kind of what Frog and Toad is like. And if I may, there's another show on Apple TV Plus, and I'm also a part of, called Shape Island. It's the same kind of thing. It's 3 shapes on an island learning how to coexist, and I'm the narrator there. And when I start that show, it's like, today on Shape Island. So you just gotta what is it today? It's kind of lovely in that way, both shows.
We all need a little something a little slower,
Yeah, it's just
a little quieter. Anything else? You're working on a million things. You've probably got 18 things.
One more thing I want to talk about, this great sitcom on Bounce TV called Act Your Age.
Which is a hit.
It's
a big hit.
It's a big hit. We're like the number 3 new show, and we were the biggest debut of a show on Bounce TV ever. And so it's me, Tisha Campbell, and Kim Whitley, and Mariah Robinson plays my daughter, and Nathan Anderson plays Kim's son. And we're like the Golden Brown girls. We're women of a certain age living together and learning how to coexist, much like Frog and Toad. And we're on a little hiatus for the NBA, but we'll be back with 9 new episodes June 3rd on Bounce. And if you can't find Bounce, you just got to get an antenna, guys. Get a regular antenna or HD antenna, because it's an over-the-air station. Plug that sucker in, and there you go.
Speaking of old school.
Listen.
Speaking of
there's other ways. You can stream it. You can go to bouncetv.com/find us and find other ways you can watch it. But I'm telling you, the easiest way is just get an antenna.
Just get an antenna.
Just
Just kick it back old school.
Yeah.
Yvette Nicole Brown, thank you so
Thank
much for talking to me.
you.
The show, once again, is Frog and Toad. It's wonderful,
Thank
lovely,
you.
and so are you.
So
Thank
nice
you.
to meet you, honey. Thank you.